Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for X-Men, Issue 5, 2024. Oh, really like the kind of crazy colors here, getting in on that whole psychic rescue mission, and this works out well because it really does focus on Psylocke and Quentin Quire, and I like diving into their characters to learn more about them, and we also get that the X-Men understand who's kind of behind this and getting us a little bit more plot movement going forward. But the main focus in this one is mainly the character stuff going on, which is very nice. So, and I really enjoyed this because we got back with Ryan Stegman on the art. Not that the last art was bad, it's like, okay, cool. That was still very good art. It's just, I'm really digging Ryan Stegman's art here. So, Alaska, go on. You don't have to go. Yes, I do. Why? Because of who I am. I was made to be a tool, John Grey Crow. Just like you were. A weapon. Honed sharp, given a killing edge. That's behind me now. But a tool needs a purpose, and that will always be with me. As we see her kind of getting dressed after having a booty night. And that is what the X-Men provide me. You don't have to go. You don't have to stay. You don't have to live here alone. Paying that awful Amy Vaught to teleport you around the world so you can rob banks. Come to the factory, John. I have a psychic rescue scheduled this morning. I'll be damned if I let Quentin Quire tell me that I'm late. But it's very interesting. It's like, okay, she needs a purpose, and the X-Men are providing her with that purpose. And I understand with how Quentin Quire can be. So we get to the factory, Merle, Alaska, and I like learning about John Grey Crow as well. So we see that Quentin is like, you're late. I'm on time. Early is on time. On time is late. When you finally exhaust my patience, Quentin Quire, won't even bother to make your murder look like an accident, because no one will care. Sabretooth cut my head off and carried it around in a box. See Wolverine issue 41, which I didn't know, but I can understand why Sabretooth would kind of go that route, though Quentin still doesn't deserve that. Forgive me if your death threat doesn't exactly have me quaking in my kicks. Yourself. Sabretooth is no subtlety. I'm trained. I'm a professional. Yeah, you don't really want to fuck with Psylocke. Listen, I don't know that much. I mean, about Psylocke, but I played her. There was like this Sega Genesis. It was also on the NES, I believe, or Super NES, where you could play as her, and that's about the extent of what I kind of knew from her. So this kind of helps out. I'm like, yeah, you're a professional. And I do like that he used the word kicks. Please do me a favor. Can you not take whatever this is into this man's brain? I'm like, there you go, Scott. No promises, Slim. Don't call me that. I love that. Like, only Logan can do that. Mission overview, Scott. And she's the professional. Just tell me what we need. Wake Ben Liu from his coma. Stabilize his mental state. And bring back some hard intel on what activated his X gene. Nice. No nonsense there. Understood. So then we really get some nice art as they start doing their psychic dive. Hey, I don't like it any more than you do. We're both psychics. You know that I know that you're lying. I know, but I have to say it anyway. And then we get some really kind of cool stuff going on here. And I like how crazy the inside of Ben's head looks, and how they've shifted from the usual kind of speech bubbles to shifting out for kind of blue outlined speech for Psylocke, and pink for Quentin. Mind dive initiated. Descent in 5, 4, 3, 2. And it just looks gnarly there. It's like, what the fuck? And, of course, I'm liking this different kind of paneling that you're getting. It just gives you a different kind of flow and lets you kind of see a little bit differently of how the page layouts go. Now, I like an intermixing of different kind of paneling, so that way it doesn't really get too boring. Though sometimes block paneling really works out pretty well, mainly in Amazing Spider-Man, when we've got John Romita Jr. doing his kind of thing, and it just works. So we see them being like, oh, what the fuck's kind of going on here? This is weird, right? Like, even for a psychic rescue, you're not supposed to talk during a psychic rescue. Please. It's just like, oh god. You're both being stupid. So, alien stuff. You think he actually was abducted by aliens? No. This is trauma. Set dressing, surface. We need to go deeper. Brace yourself. No, wait. And she then just plunges her psychic dagger into there, and I'm like, yeah, that's usually the case in most scenarios like this. And then we get a really kind of cool, effective lowdown of who Ben is. Well, was. And I really love how the paneling goes do 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 and kind of like goes around there showcasing it kind of how he was. This was how he was before. He had a life. As a finance guy, not much of one. Hey, as someone who's interested in finance, it depends upon how it's kind of done. And this kind of stuff is like, no. Like the finance dude, bro, that's a completely different kind of thing. If you're like, hey, let's see how this kind of works and make sure that we don't like fucking get screwed over. Let's move things along. Pacific Coast Highway. This is where it happened. This is when it happened. So we see him pretty much driving. And I really like how it's like in black and white, but he's got a red tie on. We'll have to see if that has any significance. And we see him driving. And we see a weird fucked up like eyeball sun. And then shit gets real. And he pretty much gets sucked up. It's like, what the fuck's going on? We see his clothes ripped off. Machines doing crazy ass shit. This is horrendous. And you can understand why the dude went trauma-wise of like aliens abducting me. We see the things opening his eyes, putting something in his mouth, and then his eyes going. And of course, you got the effective overhead light blocking out the dick shot there. And then we see other people kind of around him. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? They tortured him, experimented on him. Aliens, my ass. Those are people. I can't see who they are. Hello, ducklings. It's like, ah, shit! And the thing's speaking. It's got a speech bubble, so that's why it's really kind of cool that you're like, oh god, it can see us. This is a memory. How could it see us? What are you? I'm something left behind. To punish any nosy ducklings who might come looking into 3K's business. Now this part looks fucking crazy, and I still have no idea what the fuck's kind of going on with that. Blasting? Oh, it's blasting shit out of like its hand or whatnot. Alright, cool. Going to cook you alive. Quentin, you're too strong, and Leo's too weak. If you unleash in here, you'll kill us all. Well, look who it is. No. As we see that kind of things kind of swamping them before we see somebody grabbing Quentin Quire as he's like, what? Hi there, boy. Sabretooth. We're going to have us some fun. As we see that is a crazy ass page there. That really sells Sabretooth just grabbing his ass, and it's like, no. As we see in the real world that Quentin's kind of bleeding through his eyes and his nose and everything. Quentin, John, hello Kwan. And she's doing the same thing as we see her dealing with John. Back to Quentin. So smart, boy, so smart. So smart you could have known I wasn't done with you. Everyone else leaves you, Quentin Quire. Wolverine joined the other X-Men. Phoebe went to New York. Even your own parents threw you away. Like trash. Could smell the stink of failure on you like everyone else. Don't worry about a thing. Old Sabretooth will never leave you. Not ever. You'll never get me out of that brain of yours. So let's get that head of yours back off your neck and back in a box where it belongs. Shit. And I like that he takes up a good chunk, and then we see the close-ups with Quentin. And it's like, damn, I really understand that there as he's like grabbing and having and ripping blood on him. It's like, no. And we get a nice X mentions. If you want to look into that and get more understanding of like checklists and what's going on with the other X-Men ones. Titles. John, what is this? This is where it was always going to end up, Kuan. You were right when you said we were weapons. Made into weapons. But you were also wrong. There's no getting better for us. The only way a weapon gets better is by killing people faster. And the only thing wanting to get better means is that we're broken weapons. Useless. And there's no place in this world for a weapon with no use. And I really kind of connect with this. I mean, granted, I've not been trained as a weapon, but I understand that kind of useless, hopeless feeling like that and everything, and having that being utilized against Kawan. You'll see, and then you'll do the same thing. John, as she's trying to, like, stop that. And that just really... These two scenarios really help me connect with Quentin and Psylocke and be like, oh, now granted, Quentin is still an annoying dick shit. And Kwan is like no nonsense and everything. There is a balancing kind of act. Wait, a gunshot. Psychic bleed. You're dead. This isn't real. This is all her. Psylocke, we're in our black bug rooms. I can't. I'm not strong enough. I'm not a strong enough psychic to break out Quentin. I know, but I am. As we see him, you realize what's going on, get out of his thing, and we see her just trying to deal with John having shot himself in the head in her black bug room, and Quentin just being like, yeah, I know, I got this, I'm getting you out. I'm strong enough, but if I power through, Ben Liu dies. I need someone trained, a professional. ... Alright. As they work together, where she's able to train and hone his power so it doesn't completely screw him, and he's able to provide the oomph. Let us put things to right. Let us put things to rights. As he's bleeding, she's crying, it's gnarly. Quentin, Psylocke, did you... Oh god, Ben Liu is awake. They're called 3K. They're making new mutants. They figured out how to force activate X genes and abducted flat scans, and Cassandra Nova is one of them. It's like, holy shit, that's a lot to bear down there. As we see Scott and Beast looking at him like, shit. And X-Mail! It's actually pretty good X-Mail. It's like, alright, cool. So, here we go. The next issue. When the X-Men attempt to unravel the globe-spanning conspiracy arrayed against them, Temper and Magic work to investigate one closer to home. Merle, Alaska holds more secrets than just the ones kept within the factory, and the two must leave the safety of their headquarters and hit the streets for answers. Oh, cool. And I kind of like this. We've got our team scenarios, but then it's a big enough team that we've got... we're splitting them off into certain kind of things, so it'll be interesting to see how Magic and Temper work together and what they have to accomplish, kind of like we had here with Psylocke and Quentin. So, I really enjoyed this issue because it gave me a nice deeper understanding of Quentin Quire and Psylocke Kwan. Even though I haven't really been that well versed with them, it's really kind of fucked up that Sabretooth had done that to Quentin. I didn't know that he was carrying around Quentin's head in a box, and I can understand his trauma on that. And I love how it was tied together. Jed McKay does a really good job of tying that together with also doing plot momentum forward. I've loved that he's able to do that kind of stuff and do character and plot all at once without compromising on either one. I've seen him do that with Doctor Strange, Blood Hunt, The Avengers, and I'm loving him being able to do that here with X-Men. And it gives me a nice understanding of who these characters are without going into complete and utter plot dumping territory, where it's like, okay, you need to know all this kind of stuff. It's worked organically throughout. I'm like, I understand Krakoa was kind of crazy, but all that shit kind of going on with Sabretooth and Quentin, holy fucking shit, and him being able to get through with that. And Psylocke being the kind of weapon kind of trained. There's a lot of different kind of mutants that have been trained as weapons. Logan, X-23, now granted, Psylocke, and understanding and having to deal with that, and deal with that in their own different kind of ways. I think that's a universal kind of thing. Not that everybody's been trained as a weapon, but a lot of people have been utilized by people as tools and told to do all these kind of different kind of things, and then trying to find your own purpose and everything is a very effective kind of story tool and really connects me with her character a lot. And I like that we looked into Ben Liu and that we know that this organization has Cassandra Nova. That's an important kind of big X-Men big bad. I'm not as well versed with her, but I know that she's a kind of big one connected with Charles Xavier and all that. We've got that they've got a person involved that can leave behind things in people's minds to attack people that are diving in for that stuff. That's a very effective psychic deterrent. So we'll see how that kind of pops up. There's a lot of interesting things. The art just really sold the kind of craziness of what's kind of going on. They need somebody to match Jen McKay's kind of craziness, especially since reading like Blood Hunt and Avengers and Doctor Strange. You need those artists to really get them to sell what's going on, and this really sold the kind of psychic craziness. And I cannot wait to see what happens next and to learn more about Magic and Temper and how they kind of work as a team, because this was really cool to see them working just two together as a team as well. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.